probably think about it in a little bit.
And then,
There also
everybody always talked about
also used to be a garage behind Black and Bailey back in the alley. That's why that caddy corner in that northwest corner or northeast corner is cut that way.
Oh, yeah.
Because they could get a vehicle in that garage and work on it.
There was a place where I think Harry is now, the Webbs. That was like the all men's. We go and play cards and stuff, but they had really good burgers.
Phelps' cigar store, yeah. In fact, it's a building, when it was just a building south of the drugstore, but then when Phelps got out, they bought it and made it into the rest of the drugstore.
Now, wasn't the Oldsmobile dealer?
He was on 8th Street,
Okay.
right there next to the Sentinel. Had an Oldsmobile dealer there on 8th Street.
And above the Sentinel, there was a boxing?
Well, no. Above the Sentinel, I think they used to make gloves and stuff. There's a factory up there.
But somewhere up above.
Yeah.
Bob Smith, Sawyer and
everywhere.
Smith is where the boxing ring was.
Yeah, Bill remembers. Did you box there?
Right next to, what's it called? It used to be Chamberlain Tavern. It's what's it called now?
Putts.
Putts. Yeah, it used to be Grove's Hardware right next to it. And that's where the boxing ring, it used to be up above there, because I boxed in it a time or two.
Smith, Sawyer and Smith gave us that boxing ring. It's out in the barn.
Is it? Okay.
Okay.
It's a ring?
It was
A metal ring or wood?
It was a cage basketball thing up there. I guess it's still partially there.
Still partial.
Talked to Mark McCall. McCall Fit now owns that building. But the boxing ring you guys have here then,
Yes. Yeah, Smith,
Okay.
Sawyer and Smith donated it when they moved to the
right?
new building.
We used to have a lot of boxing up there.
They asked when if I wanted it, and I'm like, well, I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but I guess bring it in.
Okay, didn't they have some championship fights there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, somebody was the champion fighter of the whole U.S. and he was up there. Who was that? I remember reading that. Jess Willard, which is no relation to us.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Can't
read this.
remember.
I read
All I
that
know is
stuff.
boxing
yeah.
going up there.
Well,
I
you
know,
boxed when you were a teenager or something.
What was his name? Cooper. He was a good boxer. He about floored everybody he went in there with. He knocked them out.
Was he a local guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know where Chuck Swango was or not, but he called him, what is it, Red Skelton's, plays that cauliflower McPug. But
So did they have were there any big names that went to the boxing matches, or they like just local matches? Or
probably,
they had to come in?
probably kind of
So-
local, but I suppose some of them, they're doing a lot of betting on up there, you never.
Yeah, I read in the 1920s, I think it was, that they had some famous boxers in, but the only one I can think of is Jess Willard.
Okay.
But there was somebody else too. It was in the Sentinel.
I remember they put me and 3 other kids in on each corner, and then we'd all free for all. Whoever won stood up last was the winner. But then everybody throw money on the ring so we could collect the money. So we
Gosh,
got
that's
money
about
that way.
considered child abuse today.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I done a lot of running. I didn't want to get hit.
In August 1936, Rochester, Indiana was featured in the Fortune magazine. What other publicity has the city gotten, good or bad?
National attention you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Well, in relation to round barns, we were called the round barn capital of the world. A Purdue professor told us that that Fulton County had more round barns than any other county. But it turned out that he was mentioning just Indiana. We had the more round barns of Indiana. Someplace up in Wisconsin had more round barns. So when I found out and told that county in Wisconsin, at first they said, well, we don't care. But then they decided to call themselves the round barn capital of the world and made fun of us. So I think it's Stevenson County, Illinois, and then there's one in Wisconsin too. Vernon or something like that. Yeah, there's about 4 counties that have the most round barns.
We had 17, and the one in Wisconsin had 21.
And the one in Illinois, do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I wrote that all up for the Sentinel years ago, and it was published in the
I
Sentinel.
just remember that Wisconsin one, because that one's been,
We probably clipped it and put it in the round barn file.
probably. So, the 1936, we have a copy of that magazine, Fortune magazine.
Yeah, we have an original copy.
But, the round barn title, and I don't know of anything else really that we'd have been known for. I mean,
Cole Brothers Circus.
there were famous people here. at one
Yeah,
point.
and when the circus burned, boy, that got national attention. And when Clyde Beatty got bit by his lions, that got national attention because he went in the hospital. Oh yeah, his lions turned on him and attacked him. I don't remember if it was here or where it was, but someplace they decided they'd had enough, and he cracked the whip and they jumped on him. All he had was a little chair.
And I'm not sure that Elmo Lincoln got national
Oh yes,
recognition.
yeah, he did. Yeah,
Because of
that's
him
right.
being
Elmo
first
Lincoln, the
Tarzan.
first Tarzan in the black and white silent movies.
I always told the kids he must not have had a good voice because after they started talking, they changed people.
Well, he had a big chest, and so when they put him in the movies, they thought he looked more like an ape. So then, after they come out with talkies and everything, they picked Johnny Weissmuller because he was slimmer and more handsome.
Okay.
So it wasn't really his voice, it was just that they went with the better looking.
Okay.
Though he was a good looking guy, we've got his picture right in there. A couple pictures of him as himself and as Tarzan.
Okay.
And he was a good looking guy, but he had a big chest.
Yeah. With the Colonial, we had several different musical acts that came to Fulton County and actually did programming. Yeah, I'll come up with that guy's name now. Thinking of it.
Who was the musicians at Colonial? You said you could hear them from your house.
Oh, Count Basie get out there. And,
Count Basie.
Oh yeah, Cole Porter played our baby grand back here. There we go.
On the baby grand we got here? Oh, I didn't know that.
all that big
Count
bands used to
Basie?
go out there, 'cause I used to
Count,
listen to them.
C-O-U-N-T.
Yeah.
Count, and then Basie, B-A-S-S-E,
Yeah.
probably.
I thought it was I.E., but I don't know for sure.
It could.
Cole Porter played in
Cole
Rochester.
Porter supposedly played on our baby grand back here that came from the Colonial.
So he would have played on it in the Colonial Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a.
Ken Maynard, that's another name from
Oh
back
yeah,
then.
he had a circus act, didn't he?
Yeah.
And a Wild West show, Ken Maynard.
But who's the other guy in the musical thing that was here?
Tom Mix.
Yeah, Tom Mix was here.
I seen him lasso 6 horses at once.
You saw
Yeah,
him?
out there when they had the circus out there on 18th Street, just right
Oh,
by
where there's a building
Inyards
now, but-
was. But that was all, Joe Mackey owned all that ground.
From Colonial.
Oh, the guy from Fulton that had the Liberty Horse Act.
The pal, the magician. No, you're talking about somebody else.
That's in our Fulton County Folks book. Do you remember who had the the horses at Liberty, meaning that they obeyed commands and they didn't have any ropes on them or anything. At Liberty, they called it a Liberty Horse Act. He lived in Fulton, and he and his wife both were put in the Circus Hall of Fame.
Huh.
And of course, so was Clyde Beatty.
Sure.
Well, Powell was well known too for his race horses.
That's right. What was
Thurman Powell.
What was his first name?
Wasn't it Thurman?
Thurman.
He broke a record out here at the fairground.
Yeah, and his record might still stand. He had 4 different records for speed for trotting horses, or pacing horses, maybe both. Anyway, the driveway that goes around the park out here used to be a racetrack. And they would,
The city park?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
That used to be where the fair, they always had the fair there.
Okay.
but Powell set a couple of world
Yeah.
records there, because they'd time them and then, it'd go in the book.
Yeah,
It was
they
there
had-
until like 54 or 55 when they moved to the current fairgrounds.
Yeah. They used to have WLS team from Chicago come down at the fair. They used to do a lot of Arkansas.
Oh, yeah, the
Arky.
Arky, the Arkansas woodchopper.
Yeah.
He was a comedian or something, wasn't he?
Well, he sang them too. Yeah,
Yeah,
he was. Yeah.
Lulabelle and Scotty.
Yeah. they
I
was
still
here.
sing one of their songs to my kids.
Yeah, there were a lot of them come from Chicago. Was up there.
I love
think
you,
maybe
a bushel and a
Captain
peck,
Stubby
a
was
bushel and a peck, and a hug
Captain
around the
Stubby at
neck.
that time, and the Buccaneers.
Lulabelle and Scotty.
Duke Ellington? Is that a name I?
Did he come, Duke Ellington?
Yeah, I believe he was out at the Colonial.
Yeah, because a lot of famous people came up on the railroad from
Yeah, the nice
Indianapolis.
big open
Mm-hmm.
dance floor and all that stuff. But Saturday nights when I go to bed in town, I could hear them playing all night.
Yeah, it didn't have a roof on it. It was an open air dance floor.
Yeah.
Right. Where did you live in town? How far can you hear this?
Well, I lived on the corner of 14th and College,
Okay.
right across from, well, it used to be Packard's Grocery, but before that it was a house. But
Okay.
then across the road from it was a meat market, so.
Sure.
Now he remembers the day after the or the night of the circus
Yeah,
fire.
the
too.
night of the circus, I could stand there. I lived on Elm Street, and I could go up my upstairs window and see the flames from the circus burning.
Where was the circus located at?
Out here at, just, right
area,
there, where,
isn't
from Wilson's and the junkyard.
Scrapyard.
You know where the recycle is?
Recycle building.
On the
That
Erie.
building, all that
Okay.
stuff on the other side. And I
Okay.
lived on it, right down there where Columbia School's at.
Okay.
You could see the flame, of course.
Wow.
At that time, the trees weren't as tall,
Sure.
but you could see the flames, they're that high. And then next day, Dad took us out there and we seen all the stuff that was burnt and all that.
Wow.
I did see that they had, the reason I seen it, got out of school because I had the mumps. So we was out there looking at it. A lady and her little daughter was there. And the little daughter ran over there and was poking, had the guts on a elephant.
I thought it was hippo, but anyway.
No, a hippo was in the cage. It burned to death,
Yeah.
or boiled.
Well, didn't you say somebody cut a little square of meat
Yeah,
out of the dead hippo?
probably tasted like a watermelon. Just
I
sitting
don't
there.
think so. Anyway, he saw some weird stuff. I don't think anybody tasted it.
But now on the corner, on the alley of across from Bailey's Hardware, that used to be Crown Over's Jewelry used to be in there too. And then across the alley from there was a billiards. They had about 6 or 7 pool tables that they'd go in and play pool all the time with.
Where was that?
Right there, between 7th and 8th Street here on the east side. At one time, Western Auto, I think it was in there too. But that was after the pool hall.
Okay.
it was a pool hall there when I was little. 'Cause I know that they wouldn't let me in because I was under 16. They had an age limit so you could get in there.
But they let you buy food out the back door, didn't they?
No, that was a rec theater. No, we couldn't go in there till we was old, 16.
No, but you'd buy food out the back door. You told me you got
No, that
the-
was Phelps's.
Yeah, Belts.
That's a different place.
And when the Harlem Globetrotters came here to play, there was no place they would let them eat. So they passed some food out the back door of, wasn't it Phelps?
Phelps is the one that do it.
Harlem Globetrotters back there?
Yes.
Yeah, they
And they wouldn't let
had
them
the-
eat.
They had the Globetrotters come here and then they wouldn't. I remember they was beating Rochester so bad that some of the guys from Rochester just went over and sat down because they couldn't make it.
The Globetrotters would go around playing against local teams.
Okay.
And Rochester thought they had a good one until they met their Globetrotters.
So they just played at the high school?
Yeah, in high school, yeah.
Is that when the high school was?
Yeah, where the
downtown?
Whitmer gym was, yeah.
Okay.
Was it adults playing though?
Yeah. Because I remember, I think it was Tom Du Bois and some of them others that era was playing against them, and they just couldn't. Them Globetrotters, they had everything down pat, how they done everything all the time.
Sure.
There was a comedy actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd pass it behind them and hide it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they loaded up the gym. It was fully packed.
Mm-hmm.
Now that circus fire, animals were let loose, and so there were wild animals running down the streets, elephants and
Right.
ponies. But the horses were out here at the farm next to our museum,
Okay.
so they weren't in on the fire. But I think it was Zopi's pony was in on it, and a pony got hit by a car. I remember that being in the newspaper. So there was a lot of stuff, and they found a monkey in Woodrow School, and there were monkeys that they caught for the next few months or something in the woods around Lake Manitou, and it was quite a nationwide news because of
Wow.
the circus fire.
Yeah. So, is there any? Do you know if Bing Crosby came to Rochester?
I doubt it. I don't
Hopalong
know.
Cassidy did. I remember
Hopalong
seeing
Cassidy.
him in 1950.
Yeah, he was in the Berghoff.
Yeah, he had his horse. He was on his white horse, Hopalong Cassidy. I liked him better than the other cowboys anyway.
That's because he
Just a
rode
publicity thing, or?
horse. No, he didn't sing.
No, I don't think Hopalong ever sang, but he was more a traditional cowboy.
Yeah.
He many people said he was a true cowboy, and I think he probably was.
Right. So, I've heard stories about Bing Crosby coming to the New York Candy Kitchen or the Berghoff, and
Could have.
it was around the time of White Christmas, the movie. So I think he was going around and publicizing it, and by contract he couldn't sing, so it came. Somebody had like a record or
Play the
a radio
record.
or something, and he
And
lip synced to it. There at the Berghoff is what I was told. So,
I don't remember hearing that.
I don't either. Not here. I didn't.
Need Jack Omeyer or Jim Zimmerman or something.
Yeah, people a little bit older than this.
sure.
Of course, when I was growing up, it was all westerns to me. I didn't like that crooning stuff.
I like Bing Crosby, okay. But Westerns was my favorite.
Sure.
I read someplace that the 1960s was
I think
the heyday of the Westerns. I think it said there were 50 different Western on TV in the 1960s.
Wow.
So it was very, very popular. And then it went away, so we don't see so many Westerns anymore. Wagon Train and what else?
Well, I know some record company turned him down, said he couldn't sing worth a hoot.
Bing Crosby?
Yeah. They turned him down, look what he was done.
He was known as a crooner,
Okay.
Crone.
Made a lot of money, just
Sure.
because he couldn't sing.
What are some historical things that are unique to downtown Rochester?
Well, a
Besides the
big-
circus fire.
Yeah, and then the big fire downtown on the corner of 9th and Main.
Arlington
Berghoff
Fire.
and then Wilds.
9th and Main would be the New York
Arlington
Candy
and,
Kitchen and Berghoff and,
Yeah, that was 61, I think.
Okay.
Let's see, a Boston store used to be there all across from the courthouse too.
Yeah, but did it burn?
Yeah, I think it did when Wilds burnt. Wilds burned in there too,
Yeah, and I don't remember the year for that.
because that was just north of, or south of where Dr. Dean's office was.
Yeah.
So,
And in the
didn't
hotel-
Miles burn twice?
Yep.
Weren't they across the courthouse, from the courthouse there?
Yeah,
They burned there
They
and
moved
then
out.
later moved.
because I'm pretty sure they did, because they moved out and went down to where the hotel was.
And burned
Since the
their
hotel burnt
Arlington
down,
is.
they built down there. But
Right.
I remember they always had them tracks overhead where you put your money in it and they'd go up and they had a cashier change it out. So
Right.
we still got some of that track here somewhere.
Yeah, we should put it up. So Melinda gets in cash around.
you gonna give me the cash to put in it?
Oh, just a couple nickels.
Oh.
Which takes me to another question. We had the tracks at the Wiles department store, and we had the foot X-ray machine. You could see inside your shoe at Truett's.
We got it here, haven't we? Yeah, you wanna stick your feet in it?
Yeah, Truett's shoe store.
Yeah,
They took them away because they said the X-ray was maybe causing cancer or something.
We
Okay.
used to have that one of them there at the Red Goose store there by the 5 and Dime store one time, because I remember I used to sit in there and look at my toes and I'd wiggle my toes. They're trying to get the size of your feet.
Yeah, that might be the one we got here in the museum.
No, what's
No.
supposed to give us that? And
Mary Ann Library?
no, when they was down, who had it? They had a shop there, I believe, where the clothing store was there next to the bank.
Truett's.
Hercules was worked in there. What's the name of that mother's? What was the name of that?
The shoe store on that side was Truett's, wasn't it?
Huh?
Truett's was on the side where the Webb's is.
Yeah, because it was on just
And then
north of
Lehman-
where
Lehman's gave
Kroger's
us that
was
stuff
in
later.
that building. Because the bookstore used to be in there too.
There were shoe stores on opposite sides of Main Street, and they were owned by brothers.
Yeah,
Okay.
one was on between 8th and 9th, and the other was between 8th and 7th and 8th.
Do you remember their names? I know they were brothers, but I can't remember the names.
No, I'd have to go back and go through the
We got a,
Go
we got a
back through the
complete
phone
collection
books
of
to
phone
find-
books here.
go back through the phone books
Nearly
and find it, I
complete
suppose.
Sure.
Yeah, Hugh Barnhart started saving his old phone books, so he gave them to us, and then we added to it
I
every
know we
year.
could go into the handbooks of Tomballs in there and find it too.
Yeah, yeah, Judge Tombaugh was
Okay.
doing indexing.
All
And
right.
so he published several books of indexes.
Did he own a grocery store? Somebody else I talked to remembered Judge Tomball, and
They
he-
had,
he
they
always
had some
remembered-
kind of thing that they sold. Peggy? Can you hear me? 'Cause they sold, greeting cards and different things that.
Ross's bookstore.
Tomball.
That Tomball's
Oh,
on.
Tomball.
Can't remember exactly where it was, but I know
He
they
used
had
to
something before they
Bind
became
his
judge.
own books and stuff there at his house.
Yeah, he indexed the books, and then he printed them off and bound them as books. So we got indexes that he did.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his hobby, and he did it for years.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a wonderful lot of good stuff.
Great. Was there anything else that people today, those things like that, the X-ray machine or the the cage. Is there anything else from downtown Rochester that people of today might find interesting there?
Well, at one time, was it Berghoff had a girl dancing in a cage, hung suspended from the ceiling. And Fast Freddy from Kokomo come up to dance. Okay.
Don't look at me, I
Well,
didn't
they
do
used
this.
I went there
Well, they used
with
to-
my daughter-in-law, and she made me tuck a buck. You know what tuck a buck
Oh,
is?
there at the brass.
At the,
That rumors at that point.
did they call it brasserie or something? You know what tuck a buck is?
Yeah.
She
Well,
gave me $1. And she,
Was it on the corner of 8th and 8th Street where they had the Rochester Bottling Company?
yeah, they had a Coca-Cola.
bottom. I got a couple bottles that says Rochester on the bottom of them.
Okay. Those
Yeah,
the-
there's one here at the museum. They're worth $400 a piece, yeah.
Wow.
That's what we were told.
What? When was that?
Yeah, it was back in the 30s.
Okay.
Because I remember I used to look in the window and watch them bottle the Cokes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
Of
earlier,
course, that's
maybe
when you
in the-
replay. You took them back and then they washed them out and stuff. Sometimes they didn't get everything in them. It was washed out. So
So you
once in a
find a
while you'll
cigarette
find a
butt.
bottle with a cigarette butt in it or something
Yummy.
they stuck in there to.
But if you took it back, they'd give you another one.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, that's. Then they had a chicken hatchery down there on across. I believe it was across from Tops down here on 5th Street.
Well, then they had a big barn, and that's south of Rochester,
Well,
which was a hatchery.
This was just about where that church is sitting now. That's where it used to be. Of course, they built built one there on 9th Street too, where the First Federal Savings at.
Tops Manufacturing made clothing and uniforms that was sold all over the U.S. And then they moved and put another factory in Kentucky and left
Well,
here.
that was the Lewis's.
Yeah,
Or, yeah.
Ellen's, E-L-I-N.
Where the
Ellen.
Legion's building now is, American Legion building. That used to be Zimmerman
fu-
Brothers
funeral-
furniture and funeral home.
Oh, that's the oldest building in Rochester.
Yeah.
Yeah, the oldest in Rochester.
Really? Okay.
We have a couch out in one of the houses out here that came from their store. Still has a tag on it.
Well, the state of Indiana, I think it was maybe the Indiana Historical Society, sent a woman out that was going through each county and making a book of all the old places, all the old houses. And so she did one of Fulton County. And the old buildings in Rochester, she put down the year they were built and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got a copy of that.
Hmm.
Ryan, I gotta go to the back room and bring some more of those up here too.